missiles in Russia. Let's bring in retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert. He also served as Assistant Deputy Undersecretary of the Air Force. So, General Teichert, what do you make of this decision, and will it change things on the battlefield for Ukraine?
John, it is a good move in the short term, but unfortunately, it's a bit of the same cycle from the Biden administration where products or permissions have been given to the Ukrainians far too late to actually be productive. There is a benefit to pushing back the sanctuary that Russian offensive enjoys now, where they know they will not be struck, and to make logistical lines more difficult. But I actually think the biggest benefit right now is to put President Trump in the best possible position to negotiate an end to the war as soon as possible once he takes office.
So you think this benefits incoming President Trump? Because some people have suggested this is sort of mischief making by the Biden administration, that they're trying to put the incoming president into a box.
The best way that President Trump will be in a strong position to help negotiate an end to the war is if Ukraine is in a good position and it is strong in its negotiating position to convince Putin that it's in his best interest to stop. And that means, at least in the short term, a strong Ukraine and the products and the permissions given to him by the United States. And I believe that President Biden would love his reputation and his legacy in Ukraine to be one where the war ended favorably for U.S. interest. But ultimately, he does see the benefit at the same time of putting President Trump in a strong position to broker the end of hostilities in Ukraine.
Would you expect that the president and the president-elect had discussed this at that long meeting they had at the White House the other day?
John, it is very possible. Again, the Biden legacy aligns with President Trump's desire to end the war as quickly as possible in a way that is favorable to the United States. And it is possible that though the Biden administration now is saying that they're doing this to try to level the playing field with the addition of North Korean troops into Ukraine, there's likely the longer term benefit of possibly that agreed upon long-term ability for the Trump administration to negotiate an end to the war.
Because a lot of observers, it's no secret, have said that President-elect Trump does not want to provide the same level of support to Ukraine that the Biden administration does. So you think that in this particular circumstance, in this decision, President Biden is making a move that benefits the incoming administration?
I think more likely it benefits the United States of America because it is in our best interest, and the Europeans, and likely the Ukrainians and the Russians, to stop this very costly, almost 3-year war of aggression by Russia. And the best way to do that is to convince Putin that the United States has provided Ukraine and put them in a strong negotiating position to allow President Trump to end the war as quickly as possible.
So with these longer range missiles, Russian air assets, for instance, that have been able to be parked a few hundred miles from the front, those are now going to be within range of Ukraine. It pushes them back farther, and it makes it less likely, or makes it more difficult, I should say, for Ukraine and for Russia to use those glide bombs that have been doing so much damage, for instance.
John, it is a huge benefit in warfare when you have a sanctuary where the adversary cannot attack. And unfortunately, because of U.S. policy for the last 2.5 years, Russia has enjoyed a large amount of sanctuary in knowing that they can attack from positions that Ukraine cannot strike because we will not let them. And now opening up Ukrainian permissions and backing off those sanctuary locations does give an advantage to Ukraine at the tactical, operational, and strategic levels.
It will be fascinating to see what fruit comes out of this decision by the Biden administration. Retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General John Teichert. General, thank you.
Thanks, John.
No comment yet from President-elect Trump's team on this latest change in policy toward Ukraine.